Let's see if they hear us again. But yeah, that was a bit of. It couldn't handle the power. It was just my second abilities might have shot out a bit and everything went down. I fixed it though. Just took a bit of the Dolk's work, but we're back, everyone. Sorry about that. Yes. So where were we? We were at Once Upon a Time. Ah.
Yeah, may as well just start this one from scratch.
Yep.
We didn't get past the first page.
Scroll back up.
Oh yeah. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Egg, you might want to start streaming the preview.
Yeah, sorry about that. You sure. There we go. Back up.
There we go. All right. We're live?
We're live.
Yep.
No,
okay.
Shame it didn't actually stay down longer, because if it's longer, I would have just said, hey, we'll part 2 and read more, but it's still good. So we're gonna finish off this bit.
All right. Excuse me.
Cracker Jack.
So yeah, issue 5. Issue 5. The Alex Ross art is of a character called Cracker Jack. He is saving an old man from a burning building. Very well done. Very well done. And the issue starts off with a kind of like almost fairy tale Christmas story looking deal, something you'd see in like a children's book. And it paints this guy as being not what he appears. Like he's just an unassuming man, but like there's stuff wrong with him. You should probably avoid him. So after that little blurb about like how to think about this guy, it opens into a fight with between 2 groups. One is called, I think this is the Astro City Irregulars.
Yeah.
These are the Astro City Irregulars. And I don't know what they're fighting. Something called the scavenger people. This thing's called a mechanic. I don't know. They're just name dropping. There's no real explanations given because this is still all like laying the groundwork. This is all bare bones stuff. We got 2 groups fighting. We got a group of superheroes fighting a giant dirt and metal monster. It looks kind of cool. They don't really go over like who the characters are really. There's a couple of name drops given. 1 second. Okay, there we go. But yeah, it's I cut a little bit of this panel here with these 2 characters, the bug man who goes by the name of Palmetto, and the not Jubilee girl throwing a knife who has the most unfortunate superhero name I have ever seen. I'm not gonna say it. This is probably against Twitch TOS, but yikes.
Yikes. 90s. It's 95.
So we've got the Not Doom Patrol fighting a giant monster.
Oh yeah, Robot Man.
And they've got like the banter going on. And this old man's just watching. And then in from out of fucking nowhere comes this jackass.
Cracker Jack.
I love this guy. Like he's a jackass though. Like he's got the looks, he's got the confidence, he's got the skills, he fucking knows it. He knows he's got all that. What he doesn't have is a very high charisma score. This guy is just a jerk. But he shows up and he inspires the others, not because of he's a paragon of truth or justice. They want to get this job done so they can get the fuck away from him because he's like a glory hound. They're like, oh great, he's here. We need to step it up because he's gonna ruin everything. So while this is going on, this cop walks up to the old man's like, whoa, man, this is a battlefield. You need to go. You need to go. You're not supposed to be here. I'm not going to arrest you, but you need to get the hell out of here because, come on, man. So Cracker Jack showed up. Oh my God, no. Anything but him. So the old man leaves. He goes down a newsstand. He's just kind of like looking, he's reading what's going on. Samaritan flies by. People notice that Samaritan flying by, and they notice that he's slowing down a little bit. If we can see him flying by, then he's pumping the brakes a bit. And so this guy is just the reaction. Like everyone else is just kind of like going about their own business. There's a giant monster being fought, like maybe a block away, or however long. I don't remember how. It's not that far away, but everyone's just kind of like still focusing on their own daily tasks while there's a big superpowered battle going on. And the strongest guy on the planet is flying like a foot overhead. Like they don't think anything of it. So the old man he sits down in a park. It's nice and snowy. He pulls out his Nintendo Switch, and it is a database. This guy is a Wikipedia editor. He has got write-ups on everybody. El Robo, Star Woman, Samaritan. We don't really like Star Woman was kind of seen and mentioned before. She gets brought up a few more times in later volumes. I haven't gotten any kind of story that really involves her yet. But here they laid the groundwork to say that she is not from Earth. She is an alien from some other uh, some empire off in the stars. El Robo is basically cyborg, and Samaritan, they don't know anything about him. They just know that this guy just knows that he's really strong. He's got some energy manipulation, but he does point out that he has the potential to be distracted. So this guy, this old man, this very observant old man, he's got dossiers on everyone. Um, the Nomicron, I'm still kind of beside myself that there's a faction of villains or just, you know, pissed off people called the mountain gnomes.
In
I
Norway.
in Norway, the mountain Norway apparently has a lot of it got a lot of other issues going on, but apparently mountain gnomes are one of the problems there. Quarrel 2, I guess it's important to point out that Quarrel is not this is not the original. They wear a 2 on their chest, which is kind of dumb to me. But this
I
is
mean,
not the
yeah,
first
you don't see a
Quarrel.
lot of heroes that lean into being the second or third,
Yeah.
unless it's like Starman, but that's a whole different situation.
Yeah, that needs it. And then Confessor gets a bit of a name drop in how no one knows anything about him really. There's no known photographs. They just know what he's a crime fighter. They don't know what he does. They don't know he's in Astro City, but Astro City's ginormous. So that's like narrowing it down to the state of Rhode Island. So he's got this dossier of all these things, and he's just ticking away and adding and uh, doing his thing. And this kid,
Look at that
I blame his
face.
I blame his parents, but at the same time, the kid has a punchable face. You don't
His face looks pre-punched. I don't know. I think they've been punched a few times.
pre-punched faces. I love it. Market that. Um, but yeah, you don't walk up to some stranger. I don't care how well protected you can be in Metropolis. Superman could be out and about protecting the city as fast as Samaritan's doing it. You don't walk up to someone and just be like, "Hey, can I grab your thing? This is a nice doodad. I want to see it." No, go away, kid. You bother me.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. This is public property. Get off my public property.
A lot of 90s and early 2000s comic art had made punchable faces. Headless, you're not wrong. That wasn't a good era of punchable faces.
So
Speaking
this
of
guy,
one,
thoroughly and justifiably disgusted, goes home. I'm still not entirely sure what's going on. Like this seems to be like an apartment building, I guess, with like a big common area that everyone has to kind of walk through to get to where they're going. And this guy here, with
it's
the blonde
friends.
hair, with the mullet, um, yeah, he greets him. They kind of know each other. It's some friendly "how you doing" kind of "how was your day" kind of banter. And then Proto Twitter shows up.
I
I'm
it is
dead.
very funny how often they say twittering in
I
this issue.
Twitter came to be. It's perfect, but like it's a bunch of old ladies
Gossiping.
standing around gossiping. This is a trope because it exists as a real thing. This used to be
Like
so
that's
bloody prevalent.
society, little like societies they'd have.
Oh, like Bridge Club and stuff like that. Yes, but like this is the essence of it, and he sums it up perfectly by saying their twittering ignorance, their incessant meaningless noise, reminding themselves they still draw breath by belittling or insulting every fact or occurrence that catches their eyes.
And then the reveal.
And then they made social media out of this. Ugh.
And then the big reveal.
And then the big reveal, and it's this guy's face has got a bit of there's a little bit of stereotyping going on here. We're going to avoid it because it's never brought
Alien.
up, but if you know, you know. But this guy's alien face is it's extremely punchable. All these faces are punchable. They're well done. But yeah, this guy is definitely not from around there. Like he's very
Alien.
obviously an alien, and that Nintendo Switch is very much modded. And
Oh no, Nintendo's
he's
gonna
so
arrest him.
disgusted. He's so disgusted. Like me, this old man hates all the gossiping so much he is about ready to just throw the Switch and start an invasion. He wants to so bad, but he stops. He's like, no, 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 we're not quite there yet. I can just hold out a little bit longer. It's fine. It's
I want to
fine. So he's
look at
like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna take a rest. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna relax. My blood pressure can't handle this, and it'll be fine in the morning. We'll start reconnaissance again anew. And his alien tech doesn't really match up with this ancient ass building he's living in. Bad wiring, wood frame. The whole place goes up. And he's left musing to himself. He's like, well, this sucks. Uh, I can survive this easy. I can just kind of do the deed? Do I blow my cover to save my ass? What do I do here? Like I don't know what to do. And then Cracker Jack shows up. And this is probably the only time anyone's happy to see this motherfucker. Because now this guy doesn't have to blow his cover. And he shows up quipping. This Joss Whedon busts in through the window with a quip. And the old man is like, I will forgive this. This is fine. This is fine.
Literally.
We'll go with this. So Cracker Jack saves his ass, gets him out of there.
Cracker Jack falls down, blames the old man.
Falls down, blames the old man, but they get out. The old man places a tracker on him. He's like, yeah, I am not missing an opportunity. I may look like a helpless old man, but like, no, I'm really not. I'm going to play to my strengths and be subtle about this. So the guy gets him out. Cracker Jack's got a tracker that he's unaware of completely because the guy is oblivious. And then he nearly blows his own identity because this is the building he lives in.
Oops.
The guy with the mullet is Cracker Jack. And he just realized that his entire music library is melted.
Oh, no.
His record
And the
collection.
poor guy, not even iTunes is going to be invented for another decade.
Oh goodness, his face is so sad.
And then he realizes that he just blurted everything out, and people are starting to put two and two together. You got the women fawning like, "Oh, he's so handsome," and then my records. And fuck. Shit.
I don't know why, but it gave me like a very big power Nelson. Like I can imagine him doing that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like pure power Nelson. In good ways.
And he's like, okay, gotta go. I just nope. I'm gonna die of embarrassment.
I'll handle this later. Not my problem.
Yeah, you heard nothing, and he goes away. And so the alien who got saved conveniently is starting to reconsider things. He very much wants to throw the switch. He wants to start this invasion. He wants to enslave humanity because those old women pissed him off. But he decides he's going to give them a chance. He's going to give humanity a chance based on his observations from the tracking device that he placed on Cracker Jack. If Cracker Jack can prove to be a paragon of humanity, he will spare them and they will not be invaded.
Well,
and their fate is gonna be sealed based on Cracker Jack's actions, and it's gonna go about as well as you expect. So yeah, this tracker, it sees and hears everything Cracker Jack is doing. This guy has somehow perfect 360 observation of what Cracker Jack is doing, and all he's doing is making an ass of himself the entire time. I'm pretty sure he sings all right because his civilian identity was, getting ready for a musical. So the guy's got some artistic talent.
not
Getting ready for a musical that he didn't get cast in.
I was gonna say,
let's cast in, but he's so ready to do it. He's been rehearsing, he's been practicing. He's not aware he's not in it yet.
They don't know. He'll bust the stage. He'll be like, he'll show up on stage. Yeah, this is my role.
As he's doing this, as he's trying to clear his head and forget the fact that he fucked up, he comes across a heist. Steel Devil. We don't really get a really good look at them, but I like the idea. He comes across a heist. He
Looks very
manages
much like the devil in Futurama,
very,
but
very much,
right.
yes,
The robot devil.
yes, very much looks like him. Through pure dumb luck, he's able to stop this heist. He actually did nothing except be a target, and the guy like owned himself. But he takes all the credit for it because there's no one else there to tell him otherwise. And the alien observes this. He's like, "Wait a minute. What do you mean not bad work? You didn't do anything. It's that meme. It's that meme of like Tuxedo Mask saying my work here is done, and Sailor Moon's like, but we didn't do anything, and he just leaves. This is
we're checking the
exactly
box.
that. So
I really like this panel. Pagliacci, you dickhead.
they're just swinging by. Jack in the Box doesn't give him the time of fucking day. He doesn't even glance in his direction. He's like, "Hey, old chum, how's it hanging, Pagliacci? Fuck off, buddy." And then he's like musing to himself, "You know what? I there's Jack in my name. I should sue him. I should maybe teach him a lesson. I'll win this." Giving no thought that a legal proceeding would actually put their real names out there. He just doesn't put no thought into it.
How does that? Jack in the Box is first.
Yeah. The other guys point out, he's like, "Wait a second, Jack in the Box has been around longer than you have, Cracker Jack. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with this guy's an idiot? What is going on here?" So he comes across a couple of guys. We don't even get to see if they're doing anything wrong. He just says, "You said that." He's cracking their skulls, cracking awful jokes. They're not laughing because they're getting their ass beat, and he's taking it personally. He strings them up for the cops, and the cops are like, "Hey, but what do they do?
Hey, evidence?
Thanks, but what do they do? You got any evidence? Get the cuffs ready. We got ourselves a mass goon to take in." And so he's a massive fuck up. The alien doesn't even have anything to say at this point. He's already made his mind up. He's like, no.
I ain't got something to say. I'm just.
And he keeps going. He comes across who are these? This is like Sunbird and Raven?
Nightingale.
I don't remember their names. Not Hawk and not Dove. Okay. He comes across them. They're on a stakeout. And he's just flirting. And then he has the audacity to complain that his girlfriend is mad, claims that he's flirting with women. He is so oblivious. This guy's charisma score is in the negatives. It is a vacuum of charisma. It's starting to curve in on itself. They're just not having it. He's trying to flirt with him, and that girl's straight up like just gagging, like, "Nope, fuck off." He helps him with the heist, stopping the heist, and then
Allegedly,
and then takes the credit. And this, you can look at the bottom panel. That alien, there is no hope in those eyes. This man, this alien, this bug is a broken bug. He has seen some shit. And it's all because of this asshole.
He lost faith in humanity.
He used Cracker Jack as an example of humanity, and he just lost all faith in it. He's
but
done.
he didn't.
But then he starts overthinking it. He's like, "Wait a minute. It's like, my people, we were like this back in the day. This guy may be a complete fuck up, but man, we've lost every war we've started. We're not that different, you and I." So he's kind of considering. He's like, "Yeah, this guy may be an asshole, but we were assholes too. Yeah, we got better. Sure, let's
Give him some time.
let's potentially give them a chance." And then, because he's still nearby, he's still next to the building that just burned down, and news crews are showing up, and he's still in the area. The old biddies lived. And the old biddies that originally sparked that primeval anger in him spark it again because they won't shut up. He has had enough. And he's whatever lesson he learned, whatever decision he came to, his resolve in humanity that Cracker Jack instilled in him is gone, completely gone. He's like, "Okay, fuck it.
Humans.
I'm gonna go. We're doing this. World War III is happening.
Humans.
We're invading. You guys are not worth it."
Humans.
So he hates humans.
Valence, thank you.
Yep, that's it. He sends a signal, and that's one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen.
I think I mean, not to spoil the rest of the series, but I think the thing that's really good about this cliffhanger is that it doesn't come up again.
But it does.
It does?
It does. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but this guy sending this signal, it plays in later, like with the whole confessor story.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. I gotta be honest, Confessor is the one that is roughest in my memory.
Oh yeah, well, like everything going on with the confessor, like
lot.
towards the end there with the twist,
Yeah.
this is about that.
Also, this like Cracker Jack guy from Ross, such a showman.
That smug ass fucking grin too.
Oh, that's so smart. And then we got the full page of it, like, the fire, the guy. All starts so good. And now for the final issue for today.
Alright, so this one, issue 6. So, I mean, at this point, even from the cover, you can tell who this one's about. You know, you recognize Samaritan's bizarre arm cape, you recognize Winged Victory's gauntlets and wings. And, like, I think that's a really good thing about the character designs in this, is that they're just immediately iconic. Like, if you read the first 5 issues, you know who's on that cover of issue 6. So it starts off, Samaritan's coming down. He's got his work computer doing its thing. He's got flowers, which is interesting because the first issue is all like, "Oh, I never have time for anything." So hey, he's got these flowers. What's up with this? He was complaining, "Oh, I have the names and numbers of all these people who would love to go on a date with the Samaritan, but I just don't have time for it." But here he is going into an apartment building with flowers. He's a little nervous. He hasn't done this for ages, possibly ever. And it's like, well, hello. So he meets this person. Not immediately clear who she is, unless you recognize the necklace that she's wearing and say, "Oh, I can place that on a character who has appeared," or "I looked at the cover of this issue." But she's like, "Well, okay, I wasn't sure if I should be, me or the superhero." And I think it says something as well that in her apartment she's herself, but when he's going off to meet someone, he's the Samaritan. So he gives her the flowers, and the conversation's a little awkward because like this is a weird thing for them to be doing. Neither of them really has the time, and so she transforms into Wings Victory. He's like, hubba hubba. She's gorgeous, she's smart, and it's like, well, I'm too busy. I don't have time. If I asked who to have dinner, she'd be at the top of the list, but I didn't. I don't ask. Then there's a conspiracy. All of the honor guard was like, Samaritan, you gotta cut this shit out before you burn out, before you break down. This is before the concept of burnout was a thing, but you gotta stop, man. This is too much. You gotta take a night off. We'll handle everything. It will be fine. So there you've got, miles per hour chasing down an experimental car, which is presumably the sort of shit he'd be doing anyway. And then they're just standing in her apartment in costume, like, well, hello. And yeah, they've forgotten how dating works. They don't have the time for this sort of thing.
What is
So off
relationship?
they go. It do be like that. So
Relatable.
off they go. Flying out into the night, nice heroic shot, but they're just hanging out. They're talking. It's like, well, where are we going? Oh, I don't know. This was kind of forced on me. I didn't think to make a reservation, and we can't go to dinner as ourselves, can we? Uh, Sure we can. Sure we can. We might cause a scene, but we deserve to cause a scene.
I like the different way they fly. Like she's arms out, he's arms to the side.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's like trying to make a show of her heroism, not in the way that Crackerjack is, because she's not like a show off about it, but she is like, I am trying to be a symbol, whereas Samaritan's like, oh god, I gotta just, well, you'll see what Samaritan is like in a
Yep.
fucking few pages. So yeah, so then they enter a fancy restaurant in their costumes, fully decked out, and the Major D is just like, oh, yes, Superman and Wonder Woman. Yeah, we can sort this out, I think.
How do you sit with wings, though?
Very carefully.
Oh, well, no, you can see she's like crossing them over and folding them up so they're
Ah.
not in the way so much.
Privacy curtains, I'm sure those work.
Oh, well, yeah. So, you know, they're chatting. It's like a night off. You know, she's ordering a white wine. She's like, okay, well, you know, it's a night off. I can be human. Samaritan's going for the club soda because he's Superman. Like,
It's a Boy Scout.
his idea of it. Popsicle in my favorite flavor, plain. So yeah, then they they get bugged by all the famous people in the restaurant to sign the menus, and then they finish their drinks and just leave. And it's like, well, where can we you know, we can fly, we can go anywhere we want, just as easily. And it's like, well, we can go to this little place in Tibet that superheroes go to. And then Samaritan's like, no, we're not here to talk shop. Let's, you know, I've got an idea. Then you can see Crackerjack here, being his usual heroic self, saving one person, taking all the credit. Quarrel there, telling him to shut up. All very good. And so then they're out of costume. They're just in a burger joint. They figure there's enough going on in the burger joint that they can say whatever and no one's gonna like register it.
Beefy Bobs.
Which I like hiding in plain sight. I think that's a really good thing to do. So it's like, so you know, they're just talking about what they do when they're not being a hero. It's like, yeah, I'm a fact checker for the News Weekly, and it's like, oh well, that's not the sort of thing I imagine. It's not much of a job, and it's like, yeah, well, I need access to the news wire, and my organic computer will sort it out. And she's like, well, yeah, but you could get a job anywhere, surely. You could just connect straight to the government, any TV station you want. It's like, yeah, I could do that now, but when I was starting out, I was just some guy, and I've been busy. I've been doing hero stuff. It doesn't really matter as long as I can pay for my apartment and get my newswire.
Backstory time.
Yeah, then backstory time. So if you've heard of this guy called Howard
Nelson.
Nelson,
From the future year of 1982.
from the future year of 3482. So yeah, the Earth's a nightmare. There's not even like a generation left before everyone's dead. So, you know, everything's doomed. We'll send one person back in time to fix the problem that caused this. And still no explanation of what the star symbol is supposed to be. I guess it's kind of like a dove, but then
The logo?
it is, yeah. It is strange. It's clearly meant to be doing something, but I've never worked it out personally. So he gets sent back through time, and then in the process, he gets empowered by time. So he crash lands on. I mean, he crash lands on a mountain. He spends 6 months trying to work out, hey, why am I lightning? Why am I blue?
What is existence?
And then. And then, oh, the thing that he needs to stop, it's happening. January 28th, 1986, an event that that he was sent to avert happened. The sealing ring malfunctioned on the Challenger, as happened in real life. And so, oh no, it's going to explode. So he throws the Empyrean web around it, and that keeps it together. He saves the members of the Challenger. And funny thing about this being his origin story is that it does kind of offhandedly imply that whatever timeline we exist in is the bad one, because the Challenger did did explode in our timeline.
Was Challenger the one that was almost gonna have Big Bird on it? Was it?
Yeah, that was Challenger.
Oh no! Now that's the even worse timeline to be on, and thank goodness we're on that one.
Big Bird is on the Challenger in Astro City. You can't prove me wrong. Also, he's not a puppet in Astro City. It's just a creature that is Big Bird.
Sesame Street's real. It's Sesame Street's right beside Shadow Hill.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's where the Count lives.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's one of the good vampires she knows.
Yeah, she mentioned the vampires weren't so bad. They just count things, and redacted for the next time we talk about Astro City.
And we get the origin of his name.
Yeah, so it's like, so everyone's hounding him. He's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't. Just call me a good Samaritan. Bye. Spaghetti spilling everywhere out of his time jumpsuit. So yeah, so he had his organic computer. He created a data trail, and somehow the power made. Yeah, he used his power to make his hair not blue, and he started building a life. And it's like, well, then what happened? Well, that was it. After that, I was like, oh, well, if one bad thing happening can ruin everything, I should probably try and stop every bad thing that happens, or at least as many as I can. And so you stayed that way, even though it was done. Well, yeah, it's what I'm trained for. I don't know what else to do. I don't know another way to be. And then, well, one time he did go back to the 35th century, and hey, he fixed it. It was a success. But in fixing it, he destroyed his family. The place that he was from doesn't exist, much like Krypton. And the place he grew up was a taco stand, much like Krypton.
Oh no! Oh, yes. Gal's tacos. Or whoever the last person that... It changes the day. Oriola's Taco Cantina. Your whole family, your whole world.
Yeah, so it's... And then, yeah, they get bumped into again because it's a crowded burger place. That's what's happening. I really like this panel of Beauty hitting out the Golden Jerk, Golden Boy. I really like it because everyone else is very human, but that is a pose that a Barbie could do, and I think that's really cool. Like, it does look like a Barbie has been placed in the scene, and I mean, I know Alex Ross uses...
You're not that wrong.
Well, that's what Beauty's supposed to be. I mean, look at the choker on her. That's very much where the head line is on one of those sort of figures.
Beauty is a human-sized Barbie doll that is ambulatory.
Fights crime. I mean, Barbie's had a lot of professions in the past. I think crime fighter would be fitting. Like what?
Yeah,
astronaut, detective, Marion, crime fighter. I'll put that.
Omni Barbie is a very funny who would win thing.
That really is the... I was about to bring... Oh. Composite Barbie.
So yeah, and then... Well, it turns out they actually know what's going on. Winged Victory's medallion lets her know, and Samaritan's got his earpiece in. Like, they're keeping track. They're making sure. And Samaritan, he's a more scientific guy. He heard it from a squad car nearby. The information got routed to him. Whereas Winged Victory, more of a magical thing. He's just getting like mental images of what's going on. And it's like, well, I guess we're just workaholics. And she's like, well, I would like to beat up Golden Boy myself. I do like to focus on missions that can help empower women. And it's like, then it gets into the concept of people being, your villain, which, some of this conversation gets into some awkward topics for a casual stream, but I think generally speaking, it does hit on an interesting point where, from our perspective, from outside, you think of a hero, you think of their rogues gallery, and that makes sense, because different editorials have different characters under their control. You're gonna see the Green Goblin more in a Spider-Man book than you are a Captain America book, because that's just who controls the characters. Whereas in universe, it is weird that yeah, some villains just sort of tend towards the same heroes over and over again, even if they don't have necessarily a direct connection.
No, she's like,
Um,
yeah, I make that person. I do that on purpose.
yeah,
Interesting.
and then yeah, and then I mean, yeah, this hypothetical they bring up, I think it's a bit harsh on Samaritan to do. It's like, so you've got a man dying and a woman dying, and you can only save one, and all other things being equal, you'd go for the woman first. And she's like, yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think that's a bad answer. I think that's
Yeah.
a bad hypothetical
Well,
because it's
someone's
like,
gonna die.
yeah,
She has her
if
mission.
you if you're doing a trolley problem here, then you gotta. I mean, it's not even a trolley
Yeah.
problem because that's like a
Multiple
numbers
die
game.
versus one dying.
It's one.
1-to-1.
It's just one here.
Someone's
So then they,
deciding who lives, who dies, and she has her code.
yeah.
But
So yeah,
why?
then they get into it, and she's just like, well, that's that's why I have these powers is to help and inspire women primarily. And it's like, well, it's not that I'd lose them if I didn't have it, but at the same time, it seems like that's why I have them.
Making a conscious effort, I want to do this for this people. They need it.
Yeah.
I don't want my stuff being like, oh, I'm part of a team. I want to make sure me, I'm a woman. Myself, I can do it. I like her character a lot. Very interesting, like how she does it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like Wonder Woman with pragmatism
Exactly.
behind her.
This is Wonder Woman and Superman, and I like how they're drawing from how they are.
Yeah.
Also, I just like how like Superman's like, oh, okay, this is how it is. Oh no, it's not.
Well, this is earlier I mentioned that his time infusement thing it really did a number on him because he thinks through logically. He thinks through like what gets done first. What will take the least amount of time. That's how he thinks. He's having problems wrapping his head around another way of thinking
Yeah,
because he's so fundamentally changed
I'm focused.
that this is
Yeah.
like he's like, what do you mean? You mean pick and choose? Like I can't. I don't think I could do that. I don't think he's really disagreeing with her. He's just like it's a foreign concept to him, and he's trying to understand. And she doesn't seem to be taking it well.
Yeah.
Reading ideals about they. It's kind of also like the fighting we see everyone just like doing their jobs. Like, man,
Yeah.
Harrison and they do so much for like not off so much off.
I really like this guy that the first family is fighting, the
Oh,
like North looking guy. That's like a very very Jack Kirby sort of Norse mythology figure that they're fighting, and I just really like that
they
design.
mentioned him right in one of the comics. He's the like Chicago Giant.
Yeah. So then yeah, they touch on, well, hey, Winged Victory, you're running these like shelters, right? That's and those were actually mentioned back in issue 4.
But the
That's
cult.
what got her called a cult leader, and then she's like, 14 now, but they're not shelters, they're schools. We did them as shelters, but I was like, oh, hang on a second, this is just encouraging people to depend on me when I want them to, you know, have that inner strength. I
Attendance.
want them to be able to depend on themselves. So they're schools now. We're teaching them things. And, it's not that shelters aren't doing important work, but hey, if this is what I'm doing, then that's what I'm doing. And then it's like, well, that's, a controversial thing that you're doing. It's like, yeah, I know. I've been called a pagan cult leader, an anti American lesbian
Terrorist.
terrorist. How do you focus on it? Focus on the mission. You focus on the next step that you need to do to achieve your goal, and you don't step back and look at it from the outside because that gets overwhelming.
You turn off the Twitter feed for a while.
Yeah.
I like how like the bus combos are just Twitter of the
Mhm.
time.
Oh, absolutely. And then it's like,
He's just
and then
in
because
hero mode for
Samaritan,
so long.
yeah, because Samaritan's like, he actively wants a family that he can now no longer have, and it's like, well, surely you have a family then. It's like, oh, I don't get to see them often, and he's like, oh, but
Exist.
like you've
Real.
got this thing that I would like and have been denied because I did my job too well. It's like, it is a shame that you don't get to see them more often. Haven't seen them in 2 years, really, but that's, you're almost as cut off as I am. And then over here, the first family, they're they're doing something with energy. It doesn't matter
They're
that
doing
much.
it's science. They're doing science.
Yeah, they're blasting the science beams at the science machine.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, come on, uh, you keep a secret identity that you don't use. What's a normal life? You're always on the go. You barely even have time for tonight. Why not just pack it in? And it's like, well, there's always hope. Maybe we'll get things to the point, you know.
Dream of.
Yeah, maybe it's unrealistic. Maybe it's impossible, but we're fighting for dreams here. That's what we're doing. And it's like, you know, maybe you're still the person you are, just more powerful and effective, but, at the same time, don't deal with the world just through the costume and the mission. Meanwhile, the first family hold it together and hit it, and they're doing something.
Or science.
Hasn't Winged Victory herself become kind of a shelter? And then she gets pissed,
That's
flies off.
they just banished whatever that guy was.
Yeah?
Just immediately goes into costume.
And then, yeah, during the kerfuffle, Samaritan changes as well. It's like, yeah, just because you destroyed your world doesn't mean I have to go back and be scared again. And so she flies off. First family's like, okay, yeah, well, we've sorted that out. And Samaritan's like, her flying style isn't like it was before. It's violent. She's flying like she wants to fucking fight the air.
She's pissed.
Yeah. So they go up to the tower, the nice iconic logo tower, the one that's the beacon. And it's like,
You're annoying.
he's yeah. And interesting, this next
Yeah,
panel,
I
it
love
does
it.
kind of hits on that dynamic that people often claim about DC and Marvel, whereas the book itself is like, well, no, that's not
It
that's not the truth of these characters.
hits on it, and then also it twists it to a new way of looking at it.
Yeah. And it's like, well, if I stop this momentum, it's hard to think that I'll manage to get back on the track. And then, they're staring at each other, and it's like, well, yeah, this discussion got into rough territory, but it's given us, things to think about. It's broadened our perspectives when normally we're too busy focusing on what we're doing to really think about, what it is we're achieving and how we're doing it. And hey, it's silent. They did it. No avalanches, no screeching tires, no death rays, no alien attackers, just a moment of peace and quiet. And it's midnight. They won. The heroes have sorted out all the problems. The alarms are dead. Everything's fine. And they hear the bells chiming in the new day. And then they kiss, and then, oh,
Oh,
silent alarm goes off in a top secret lab in Palo Alto. Look, I've got it. Yeah, I should deal with this thing happening near Sokowski Street. And then off they go. But there's always hope. And there is.
now leaving. That was the baseline of the universe. All the characterization, how they all. That was incredible.
It was really, really good.
Easily, also, let's make sure. Alex Ross. There we go. Winged Victory by Alex Ross. Ross's art is. Yes. Astro City. We've gone through all 6 issues. Oh, thank you. All 6 issues
Good
of the
idea,
first
Headlock.
volume. That's the baseline for this. Writing is so well done. I loved all
Yeah,
of it.
Busiek generally, he's got a real good handle on like the people in the universes that he writes about. Like some of his takes on actual Big Two continuity are kind of deranged, a little unhinged sometimes. Like he dropped X-Men with Dark Phoenix, and I don't think he ever picked it back up. um
They just changed from one same always, right?
well, that's the thing. He's not even against that. It's just some things really tick him off and he holds grudges about them. It's really bizarre.
Oh man.
But yeah, like deep down, he seems to he has a really good handle of character. That's just something that's true. But he also seems to spend a lot of time thinking about, well, you know, how does this work? But not in the sort of way where you're dissecting the frog and you're saying, okay, well, you know, this is the guy that changes the Batmobile's tires, but more like, you know, the Batmobile's tires are changed. What's that guy's story? You know, what's his emotional connection? It's not a scientific thing, it's an emotional thing.
Exactly, the character like interactions are superb. I really love like even the little guys, like the guys that aren't even heroes, just how they act. Like we get like the reporter, the thug, the talisman girl. They all have their own like ties to herodom without being heroes themselves. Just keep up this like lofty, like Astro City is a city. It's a real city. It's like big and like living. It's life.
Yeah. And I think to an extent that is a thing that's missing from a lot of Cape books, because these days you get a lot of people that want to you know, they want to tell their Batman story. They want to add their big villain to show up in the next film adaptation project, and so they can get a royalty check for it, even if that royalty check is significantly under what their contribution actually should entail. But like, you know, the supporting cast, they do show up less these days, I feel. So it's good to have a book that is almost all supporting cast.
I was like, but okay, so I think one of my favorite parts of the cast was I just really loved how like okay when Samaritan just goes to the newspaper office, all those characters they all feel like feel like 3 panels each. They can still feel like who they are, what they're about.
They had just enough fleshing out.
Like the editors are like oh yeah Perry White, but this way. I like them. They have enough flesh to interesting. Like, oh, I want to see how they're in the future comic, of which there's
Yeah.
a lot. Astro City is pretty expansive. It keeps going.
Oh yeah.
This came out in
It's
95.
come back again.
Yeah, it came back again. This came out in 95. It's still going. Maybe it's not quite like constantly throughout the years, but like it's I think like 2018 to present is the volume 4.
Yeah, it's far from dead.
And this is the living comic. So like if you want more of this, please check it out. I will gladly show you more, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again, we will. If you ever okay, again, I mean, if you need links to comics, you need suggestions. I or the people here that are great with comics themselves probably can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. If you got like a Marvel X-Men question, ask Valence, please. I'm not good at that.
My answers are opinionated.
That's fair enough.
You see, there's actually one X-Men comic. It starts at issue 97, ends at issue 200 and something, and they never did any more. It was weird. They did some spin-offs. You should read those.
Yeah, 91. No, I mean they have weird naming schemes because they're mutant numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, the book mutated. Before that, it was a journey into mystery.
Yes, of course. But guys, I'm glad we got through this comic because it was good. I'm gonna read more of it now. That's why I love these suggestions. We get little touches of them. Go further, like Ultimateville Club could go into all of Dorkin stuff. This can go into all of Astro City. Every comic we've done can always just go bigger. Like Melee Avengers, I can go bigger to like just actually the comics versus themselves. I kind of like that. These are little nice little like teasers of what can.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up Milk and Cheese recently
Oh, how was it?
because of the Elton Milk. It's good. It's a little bit hard to binge read because
Uh,
the strips exist to be like one-page things. In the magazine, you read like one a month. It's a bit like when you try and read newspaper comics.
uh, favorite comics are really cool. I know Tower has some of those,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which is also pretty great because it's like comic club at its core is a lot of people loving comics, and that's what I love. Everyone can love comics in different kinds of comics, different varieties, and it all comes together really well for this kind of stuff. They can see like what all there is. There's a lot. Okay. So I think we should, wrap this up right now. We've read all 6 issues. Any final words, guys, about this?
If Astro City caught the interest of anyone here, I highly recommend. Even though we just reviewed the first 6 issues, it's still worth it to read them yourself because
This pepperoni.
a problem that I've had with other people trying to get other people into comics is a common complaint is that it's hard to get into. There's a lot of required reading for just jumping into Marvel or DC because there's decades and decades of stuff that's come before it. Astro City, this is the groundwork. This is the foundation. This is the starting point. If you like superhero stories, but you don't like all the muck that comes with the rest of it, start here. This is great. This is a good starting off point. And if you get to a certain point where you feel like you can watch the rest of it, or not watch, read the others, like branch out, go into Marvel, DC, this is a good place to cut your teeth.
They're very all not archetypical in a bad way, but they do take from the big two in ways that you can say, oh, I can see that. Oh, I read this one. This is the way the inspiration was drawn from this. So you can get like little hints of characters like, oh, I want more of that type of character. There you go. Marvel has it, or DC has it in some.
Yep.
Yeah, like I mean, going over things from this issue, if you're looking for big 2 jumping off points, Crackerjack, I would say check out Booster Gold volume 1, collected as
Yeah.
Oh,
The Big Fall by Dan Jurgens.
oh, nice.
If you like the journalism stuff, check out Jessica Jones' The Pulse. That's a good journalism one, kind of goes overlooked. Check out Marvels, which is another Busiek
Marvels
one
is
with
so
Alex
good.
Ross internals.
Yeah, you gotta see Marvel. Love the Ross art, fancy art. Gotta be Marvel.
Let's see, other issues. The Henchman one, honestly, I would say read Frank Miller's Daredevil. That's got a lot of focus on the Henchman. There's a few very good recurring gags with Henchman in Frank Miller's Daredevil. And Crackerjack, obviously lots of Spider-Man in him, but also I would say a fair amount of Daredevil in the way he does things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that got a good club meeting today. Can't wait for the next one.
We certainly did.
And we have decided on the next. Well, not quite. We have to reach out to some people. But if not, it might be something different. But next meeting will be in September. I'll be glad to see you guys there.
Yep.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Who should we raid into? I know Mackenzie is doing something egg related, but I think that might just be Pokemon egg hatching. Mechanicat's gone live, and he was here earlier.
Yeah.
So
It's his 100 follower thing.
oh, nice.
Give Mechanic out a high. He's a cool guy. He's playing Kerbal Space Program. And
Yeah.
let's save the Challenger in Kerbal Space Program.
Oh no. That's a good segue. I like that.
Everyone, let's raid him. /raid, not raw weird. Mechanicat. And for a message,
Here to save the Challenger.
here to save the Challenger. There we go, everyone. And that, good time. We've got a good comic. So, that's all, yolks.